we know exactly who hit our website. They finally fill out a web form. We had a discovery meeting. We maybe did a simple demo and we kind of try to qualify them as a champion to they'll sponsor us into other key stakeholder meetings so we can do more discovery and really understand the business problem that we're trying to solve for. But none of that is reported up. All that activity, all the content you're sharing, sending it via email, it's all the analytics are lost. And so I'm like, this is unacceptable. Every time we have an opportunity, you have to create a digital sales room that's co-branded for that company. And I want you to curate a very specific experience for them based on the type of insurance they are, the type of company they are, that, be able to make it really relevant and personalized.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elay Cohen. I'm the CEO and co-founder of SalesHood. Excited to host today's webinar, all about buyer insights, revenue leaders, CROs rely on to win. Today, we're going to hear from Dave Frechette. He's going to talk about his experience with SalesHood, his experience with digital sales rooms. We're going to see a short demo and really dive into the insights that matter most to him, his organization, his leadership team, and his CEO. Let's go. And Dave, wow, I've known you, Dave. It must be 14 years. No, it's 12 years since the beginning of SalesHood.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I think I was your second customer when I was at Zora.
You're at Zora. And listen, Dave is a very, very, very accomplished CRO. He's got experience at Adobe, at Zora, at Checker, Clarizen, Planview, and now at this rocket ship called Federato, an agentic AI insurance platform. And, I was looking at some of Dave's stats and was impressed by how he and his team have embraced SalesHood in his current run at Federato, seeing the impact. And I got on a call and I said, we got to hear your story, because we hear very often, Dave, we hear from enablement practitioners, we hear from marketers, but we love hearing from CROs. And so anyway, Dave, super grateful that you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think maybe we start with obviously introducing yourself, but maybe tell a little bit about Federato, like it's agentic AI insurance platform. Like, what's going on? Tell us about yourself and Federato.
Yeah. So a little bit about me. So Dave Frechette, I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. I've lived quite a few different places, including the Bay Area and Denver, and grew up in Illinois. 35 years in high tech, software. And, I think this is my fifth time being a SVP or CRO. I gravitate towards startups. Federato is just a fantastic company. Two founders out of Stanford, built a technology that is revolutionizing the way that work gets done at insurance companies. It's an AI native platform that really, the easiest way to kind of simple down what we do is we help insurance companies find the right deals faster.
So this is incredible. So congrats, and very
Yeah.
well-funded business. I know you guys
Yep.
have some great partners.
We
And
raised like 80 million. We have the who's who of
yeah,
investors. I'll call out our friends at MCAP in San Francisco and Caffeinated New York. And then I'll also call out our most recent C-round investor, Stepstone, which is a big LP.
so congrats to you, congrats to the team. And what impressed me about what you're trying to do, and the challenge is there, right? This is a very complex solution in a market that is huge, yet you've got a finite number of customers and potential customers, right? Because you're
Yeah.
going after insurance, it's policies, it's underwriters,
Yeah.
and you really are disrupting a market. So as a
Yeah.
CRO, how like, why was SalesHood one of your first calls? And why is sales enablement kind of a big part of your go-to-market strategy? And remember, we've got a lot of enablers here
Yeah.
that may or may not have CROs like you. So
Yeah.
I think they need some of the guidance to, like, how do we make more Daves?
Yeah, no, look, I think it's a great question. Look, guys, I'm a six-time buyer of SalesHood, and if SalesHood didn't exist, I'd still be buying some type of enablement platform because I believe, 85% of your capital burn at a software company is your human capital, right? The people that you hire and people in performance roles, man, it's make or break for a company, especially at our stage, right? We're fast growing. We're almost 300% year-over-year growth. We have like a 208% net dollar retention, which is crazy if you think about like getting a customer, keeping a customer, and expanding it. it's really important that the people that you hire, that you invest in their success. So how do you get everybody? The first thing that we start with is like messaging. How do you get everyone talking about who Federato is and what do you do and how do you help companies, right? And be able to story tell. And that's like fundamentally 101, like the first thing that we put in place. So you look, I think the big thing that I would say is that you have to get buy-in from the top. And the way that I did that with my CEO is that I'm going to go buy this platform, and here's the reasons why. And I spelled it out for him. My boss, who's much younger than me, never really been in enablement. He's a product guy and just brilliant, along with his co-founder, CTO. And this is pretty much their first company, right? Out of business school. And so really came in and educated and said, look, we're spending all this money on people. We have to guarantee their success. We got to create a journey, how we onboard our people, how we develop, how we coach, how do we enable, how do we career path is part of our talent strategy. And so partnering with HR and getting HR bought in, like, here's how we're going to enable our managers for training on hiring. Here's how we're going to do our pitching and storytelling for our sales and marketing and BDR teams. We really started to build curriculums out, but then also for helping build pipeline, we need to also convince the company that it's a good investment across the entire organization. So when we started with SalesHood, we quickly had our COO come to me and said, can we use SalesHood for the rest of the company? And there's a product called SkillsHood. And so we have an industry enablement team that does nothing but build and educate our people on Insurance 101, 201. We think it's really important that our engineers understand what we do, right? What is insurance and how does the code that they write actually make an impact to an insurance company? So we actually onboard all of our employees through SkillsHood, which is a version of a SalesHood that really makes it much easier for them to understand and get onboarded. So we do like the benefits explanation, the entire onboarding, the 101, 201 test and curriculum, all
Yeah.
through SkillsHood. But to kind of loop it back, Eli, right? Like
Yeah.
it really is started off with messaging. Like, how do we get everyone on message, right? Because like the first thing I came in at Federato is said, wow, I feel like we need to really improve our messaging. And so we worked really closely with marketing and our founders to hone it in. Like, what are our value levers and how do we talk to it in layman? And then how do we get everybody pitch the pitch? So we ran basically, very powerful AI pitch the pitch where like salespeople had to practice. The AI actually, I think, does a better job of scoring and giving feedback than our own first line managers can today. That's how
Wow.
impressed I am with it. And so I actually don't really look at the manager's comments in coaching because I think the AI does a better job because we've trained the AI in SalesHood to actually look for certain things. And it does a really good job of, just giving kind of that professional feedback about, you had too many ums, or you didn't take a long pause, or you talked too fast, or, you didn't give enough kind of spacing between, your change of direction or your thoughts. And so very, very powerful. But that was the key, Eli. And that now it's morphed. Our company is surprising me on how much we use this. So I hired a head of partnerships, and he's gone out and built an entire certification and learning curriculum that we forced us to go buy the partner extension of
Yeah.
sales to partnerhood. And so we are now certifying GSIs. We've got EY and Sutherland and a couple of West Monroe, a couple of others. In 30-day launch, we have now certified over 50 different individuals that have gone through coursework, which these are billable people that are taking time out of their time to go through this coursework. And it's really important to our strategy and how we're going to scale the company, right? So enabling our partners on the administrative capabilities and the configurations and the integrations that we do, they're going to help us really scale the company to the next level.
Yeah. Listen, we love the partnership, love working with you. You've always been a proponent of the importance of messaging alignment across the
Yeah, yeah,
organization, and just hearing you talk about the impact you're having in the industry and how you're disrupting the insurance
yeah,
space, and your agentic AI and you're providing improved efficiencies, like all that, all those benefits. Like it's so important that your employees, your salespeople, and your
yeah,
partners are on message, right?
yeah,
And kudos.
yeah,
So I appreciate the context of the business. appreciate kind of you as a CRO, why sales enablement, and some of the core pillars of your success and how you drive alignment. The thing that really stood out to me with Federato is how you've embraced digital sales rooms. And so
Yeah.
really the core topic today that we want to talk about is why digital sales rooms and how and why are digital sales rooms kind of a key part of your growth, and how do you yeah, it'd be great to hear from you on that.
Yeah, look, I will say that I think this is the first company that I've used digital sales room. I tried it at my last company, PlanView. We didn't quite get the adoption that we'd hoped for, but you know what? I mandated it. I said everyone's going to use digital sales rooms, and here is why. And so I painted a picture for the sales team.
Yeah.
And the picture was, look, guys, we're spending all this money in marketing on top of the funnel and middle of the funnel, understanding, who's hitting our website and what the buyer journey is. Gartner reports that 83%, 82, 83%, I can't remember the exact number, but I know it's the low 80s, of the buying journey is completed before they even raise their hand and want to talk to somebody within your company. Now think about that,
Yeah.
right? We spend a tremendous amount of time on customer stories and videos and all this information on our digital experiences, whether it's social or on our website. And then we have to invest tremendous amounts of money in tools that uniquely identifies through reverse IP lookup and who the company is and who the individual is and matching it to LinkedIn. Like we've made these investments, we have these tools, and they give us really good buyer insights. Now, we're kind of a very fortunate company to where we know exactly who our buyer is and our ICP is, right? So we sell to insurance. We more specifically sell to companies that do commercial insurance, like specialty and property casualty. The insurance that you get for your home and auto, that stuff's straight through processing. It's algorithm. This is like human in the loop decisioning, right? Where you
Yeah.
need to have some help. And so like we're very, very fortunate to know who our customers are. As such, we know exactly who are the target accounts we're looking for in the US, in Canada, and in the UK markets. And we have those customer databases built out. So we built our own master data management, and we've been enriching it and enhancing it. Our sellers are really responsible for working with the BDR team to enrich it with more contacts from LinkedIn. But the net is this. We are very fortunate to know. So like one of the things I mandated is like everyone has to have a digital sales room that is part of your 30 account named accounts. Now, we're not a transactional company, right? Like
Yeah.
our average ACV is just under $1 million. And we have several customers that are seven-figure customers with us, and they'll grow over exponentially over a lifetime. So this is very mission critical strategic selling here that we need to do. So we're very much a solution account sell. We're not that high volume, low end, low ticket. So the DSR became really, really important as part of our strategy because the buyer journey ends as soon as they raise their hand in today's enterprise sales model. And what I mean by that is, we know exactly who hit our website. They finally fill out a web form. We had a discovery meeting. We maybe did a simple demo, and we kind of try to qualify them as a champion to they'll sponsor us into other key stakeholder meetings so we can do more discovery and really understand the business problem that we're trying to solve for. But none of that is reported up. All that activity, all the content you're sharing, sending it via email, it's all the analytics are lost. And so I'm like, this is unacceptable. Every time we have an opportunity, you have to create a digital sales room that's co-branded for that company. And I want you to curate a very specific experience for them based on the type of insurance they are, the type of company they are, that be able to make it really relevant and personalized.
Yeah.
And that has been a game changer for us because you know why? My CEO saw this and says, proposals need to go through here. So
Yeah.
anytime we do like an executive briefing, we deliver it and we walk them through, and then they want it, right? We save it as a PDF. We put it as part of the curated experience. And now we sit back and watch. What do you mean by that? Well, we can see that the CFO spent a lot of time on page 12, which is the commercial financials, and gives us really good buying signals, or gives us, I can't tell you how many salespeople told me they ghosted me. And I ask them, what's the DSR say? Have they been in our DSR lately? Right? Just because they're not responding to your calls or your emails doesn't necessarily mean they're ghosting. We call it giving them time to bake, right? Bake that pie in the kitchen.
Yep.
But but it's scary as a sales rep because you got this deal committed, right? It's the end of the quarter. It's like, is this thing going to happen? And the truth is, like, you can have better insights by using a DSR the proper way and be able to not just create a curated, education experience, but also you can see that they're also sharing the link around to other people in the company. So all of a sudden you see new people logging in and looking at the DSR. There's only a couple of incidents where the DSR didn't work, where it was like their firewall blocked it and some weird governance or
Yeah.
policies. But that's far and few between. 99.9% of the time, it works really well.
There's a lot in there, Dave, that you just shared. So,
Yeah. Sorry, I
first,
talk really fast. So if there's
no,
questions, we can go
no,
back.
this is, yeah. Well, listen, folks, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. But we have a lot to cover. I think just to kind of unpack that a little bit, you said you mandate this, and your stats. I'll share the stats that we did talk about. You've got pretty much every deal has a digital sales room. You have every deal has a digital sales room and a mutual action plan. Every deal has a digital sales room and is 100% branded, and every deal has all that stuff and is synced with Salesforce, right? So this is a core part of how you run the team.
Yeah.
And and
And
and
we get complaints and support. When my CEO reminds the salesperson to make sure that it's not sent over email and that it's in the DSR, that's just like puts a smile on my face because like even my CEO is embracing this and he's looking at the DSR reports and seeing what's up.
right. And so he's looking what kind of what's he looking at?
A lot of the attach rate or how many people are, who's the leaders, like you can actually see like what DSRs are getting the most activities. How does that correlate to your deals for the forecast? That's a good flag indicator.
Wow. Everyone hear that? You look at digital sales room engagement activity of the buyers, your champions, your economic buyers, your influencers, and you look at and engagement is basically what files they're looking at, how much time they're spending on the files, how much videos, like all the stuff they do in the site, which where would it normally happen, Dave? It would happen in
In
email.
email. Yeah.
You have no visibility. It's a black hole, blind spot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's completely you have no idea how I'm like I started my career selling email 35 years ago. That it's just like it's time to do it differently for
Yeah.
sure.
So no, it's true. And so kind of going to the front, right? So your reps, you're strategic, which I think is really important. And you said they're about 30 accounts each. And
Mhm.
so every one of their accounts is a potential home run for the business. And you want to
My
work.
salespeople can hit their quota for the year on 1.5 deals.
Listen, guys, SalesHood, one thing with SalesHood, it's really easy to use, drag and drop, everything is there. And a lot of other digital sales room technologies out there. Like it's sometimes you need a technical resource.
Yeah,
Sometimes you need a coder or someone in IT. Like how long does it take your salespeople to set one of these up?
no time at all. In fact, we make it part of our onboarding and our 6 to 8 week learning path. One of it is like the tools that you use and the setup and the things you need to do, and the DSR is part of that.
Yeah.
And I think we leverage a lot of the content from your success team. They just, made it available for us on how to do this, how to make
No,
it.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got templates, I assume, or how are you working with marketing to
Yeah.
kind of
So
create
marketing's
these?
helped us co-brand templates. We continuously try to improve those. I think the most powerful thing is the stuff that normally is behind the firewall within our website, where it forces them to, provide information, but you already know who they are. But they're trying to they no longer have to do that. You now have all the stuff that's kind of guarded behind the firewall, curated and available for them, so they don't have to go through the painstaking process of filling out a web form and having a BDR call you again.
Wow. Yep. So there's some questions around. Let's go a little deeper on the insights. And I
Mhm.
think folks are wondering, how are you viewing the insights? How are you tracking the insights? What are some of your front of the funnel insights that are kind of indicators for you as a CRO beyond just win rates? Like maybe let's double click on that one.
Yeah, so like the big thing that we are looking at, like let's just break this down. One of the insights I look for is, do we have a point of view on all of our accounts? So if you have 30 accounts, you have to have a point of view. And the point of view is what we call the value triangle here, which is basically understanding like what are their growth objectives? What are the strategies you've learned? What are maybe some project or initiatives that we can attach to? What are kind of key requirements or strategies that we're trying to influence? And so they have to do a lot of research. In the meantime, the really good salespeople are creating DSRs for their prospects. they haven't even maybe done outreach to them yet, but like part of that is like instead of sending somebody to our website, you can send them to this, hey, we created this curated experience for you. Like I want to introduce myself. A few of them even created a welcome video. So it's like I'm your,
Yeah.
strategic account manager for, Allstate Insurance, say, and want to let you know that this is a curated personal room for you, right? It's really profound. They did that. We did that at PlanView too, and had pretty good results when we did do that with some of
Like the
the.
personalized videos, it's that extra little bit of
Yeah,
just care and attention and
absolutely.
differentiation.
So, like, one of the things that we believe in is that if you have 30 accounts, you need to prioritize A, B, and C, and show up at your QBR and like why these are your A's and what you're doing to penetrate and how are you working with your BDR and the marketing ABM team to, drive air coverage and awareness. And the whole goal is to get meetings, right? The whole goal is to meet. Well, look, nobody's going to take a meeting with you right away. So how do you create a safe place to where they can learn on their own
Mm.
without you bothering them? So like being able to kind of create these DSRs as a pipeline funnel generate, that's one of the insights I'm looking for.
Wow.
Right. And so we expect that they're doing outreach, right, to every one of these 30 accounts and maybe 50 or 60 contacts per account and director and above and various underwriting and IT and the C-suite. But the insights that I'm looking for is the DSR, like are they getting people to log in? Because like that's a good signal, right? So is your outbounding working? Well, 9 times out of 10, what we do see is that they got our email and then they went to our website to do research. Well, what if you inserted a URL that was a portal built directly for them, branded for them? That's completely going to give you a good pipeline building insight. You're going to know who the person is. You're going to see what they got to look at. And don't big brother them and call them and say, hey, I see you're on our site right now. Right. But you do give them a day, maybe two, and say, hey, look, I'm following up on my email and just play dumb and see what they say. So
Yeah. Yeah. Account-based marketing, account-based selling is really what this
yeah.
is for
Yeah.
you. And
Account-based marketing is one of we actually have titles for that where they partner with our sales team to do very specific account-based marketing, very
yeah.
persona-based, very personalized outreach.
Listen, in a world where folks are getting bombarded with emails and generic emails, this is truly a way to differentiate. But if you have the right leadership and if you've got the right kind of content and if you've
Yeah.
got the right guidance, I think what's genius here is Dave is being very specific, right? And just correct me if I'm wrong. Like every account, curate an experience, personalize the video, really map the specific content to what you think they need. And I love it. Have a point of view. Genius.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's going to help you build pipeline. So they kind of loop back to the original question, like,
Right, right, right. Insights and what are they? So
that's
build
a key
pipeline.
insight. That's a key insight, right? Like, yeah, are you getting traction? What are you saying, right? And then the other insight is like, okay, you have an active opportunity and you deliver the proposal. You're starting to try to the inside look is like activity, who's looking at what compared to forecast. If we forecast based on pipeline, best case, most likely, and commit. And there's gate qualifiers for each one. The commit deal is you pretty much have been awarded vendor of choice and you're working through red lines. Probably doesn't really matter that much that you're using a DSR at that point because you're not really doing like legal, stuff inside the portal. But getting to that point where they're saying you are our vendor of choice, you're going to be our partner. Leading
Yeah.
up to that those are the kind of the most likely deals and the best case deals. And those are the deals that we really want to see. Are we getting activity in there against our forecast?
That's incredible. I think it's really impressive what you're doing. I think we covered all the insights. I think the way you're connecting like, you're truly connecting the buyer's journey, right? You've
We're
got
completing the buyer journey.
even better,
We're
more than
completing it
connecting.
because it stops. It stops as soon as they raise their hand and fill out a web form,
Yeah.
right? Because marketing's job is done, right? You now have a qualified opportunity, and then we defer to Salesforce to run it, but then we don't really have any buyer insights or activity insights inside of Salesforce. So
Yeah.
we kind of really need this as a way to be able to keep a pulse on what's going on. And nobody likes being ghosted, and nobody likes to see like, oh, they went. It drives me nuts. I do all of our lost deal reviews. I personally, at the end of every quarter, call up the executive and ask for an interview, learning why we lost. And I can't tell you how many times like they ghosted me or, it's just poor salesmanship, right? What it
Yeah.
turned
Yeah.
out to be. And the truth is they didn't have a DSR. They weren't, there was nothing for me to even look at to be able to kind of triangulate and figure it out. So like the real good sales reps, even though I mandate it, follow the process, we try to govern it and make sure that everybody's being compliant. And look, the sales rep's job is really, really hard. I was one for 20 plus years. I know what's expected, but I think it's really important that you set an expectation and that everybody follows the guidelines in that. But the best way for me right now is just to drive compliance is looking at pipeline. If somebody's struggling with pipeline, it's like, well, show me your DSRs. What's going on there? Or if somebody has a forecast and it feels like the deal is going to slip or they're ghosting, it's like, are we seeing any activity in the DSR?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I'm going to do a quick demo, everyone, in a minute. I want to show folks that there are some questions around what did the activity metrics look like? What does a DSR look like? So we'll show that stuff to you in a moment. For those of you that are less familiar with SalesHood, welcome. SalesHood is an all-in-one, purpose-built, AI-driven sales enablement platform. We're helping companies activate content. We're ramping readiness. So you can see here, we've got an AI coach. We've got learning and training. That's kind of a central part. It's a core pillar of enablement. We also help organizations personalize buyer engagement. Here you can see we've got some digital sales room statistics, and then here we've got top sales plays. So everything that Dave talked about, this is an example, this is a demo, but Dave's experience looks very similar. Personalized by role with the training, the coaching, and the content. And so one of the questions that came up with an AI search that will basically answer whatever your question, it's conversational. And across the left here, you've got your content, you've got your, we call them client sites in the system because people don't want to actually be sold to. They want to be a client. And so it's a more, it's a better name that maps across the entire buyer's journey. Here's the learning, here's all the reporting. And so if I was to just first on insights, as a leader, I have roll-up insights where I can see, across an organization, pipeline influence, revenue influence, opportunity influence. I can see all the site activity. Here's kind of which segments have the most. I can see the top sites, and then I can also go look at impact. So now I can go specifically look at the deals, and I can see which deals have impact. Now, all of these stats, they're coming from Salesforce. So we're integrating with HubSpot, with Microsoft, and with Salesforce. And so all the engagement, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, I'm sure you're seeing it as well. Anytime someone hits the site, there's an engagement activity. You can see that in the opportunity timeline. You can also see that in Slack, right?
Yep.
You're looking at it here and there, I assume, correct?
Yeah, we're fully integrated with Salesforce, so we can take advantage of that. Yeah.
And so those are some of the insight dashboards that are just out of the box. I'm going to go look at a fictitious company, Dave. So we can pretend for a moment this is, one of Dave's prospects. For
Yep.
the purposes of this demo, this is a rep view of a site. So this is their canvas. This is how they create a site. This site's already been created, and you can see that number one, it's got an editor. It has the insights for the site, so I can see specifically which people, which champions, influencers have logged into the site. I can see a full list of all the contacts, and I can see all the settings right here. The overview is super interesting. You can customize the homepage. So here is how a salesperson can truly curate a personalized, hyper-personalized experience. Front loading the mutual plan, putting the last call here, the Zoom call, adding some documents, and then having their personal information. That's the overview, Dave. And feel free to jump in, man. Feel free to.
Yeah. Yeah, like so one of the things that I think is a really good best practice that I've seen some great reps do is actually do just a warm introduction. I'm your account executive.
Boom.
I want to talk to you, but created this experience for you to be able to learn before we talk, type of thing. And it's really powerful.
Yeah, here's an example of the video. I love that, and we provide a lot of training and resources to our customers. Our success team will work with you. And then here's just some ways to organize the content. Again, this is a generic demo, so you
Yeah.
can see the content is organized by topic, and then you've got security by topic and by tab. You can sync the call recordings. You've got demos, and then what I really love is we rolled out mutual action plans last year, which this has always been a spreadsheet, an asynchronous. This has always been something that's been done offline in sheets and docs if it's done, but now we've embedded the mutual action plan as a way to share milestones, to co-create compelling events, and to create a sequence of events and work backwards. And Dave, this is the ultimate in alignment. When you are
It is. We actually we like doing mutual action plans. It's really important. You do them in cooperation with your champion, right? A person of power and influence, a person that wants to see you win, that's selling for you when you're not in the room, right? So if anybody is a med pick or a medic fan, that's what a champion is. And the mutual action plan should be co-created with your champion as a best practice. And so like having this created, co-created with your champion is really key. And it drives accountability on both sides.
Yeah, like you listen, it's you and a champion, and then and then you've won the champion over. You've shared some content. You know, they've leaned in because you can see the engagement data. And then now what you've done
Yeah.
is now they start inviting people, and now they're part of the process. They're part of the journey. You're part of the decision. You understand what they're thinking and how they're thinking because you can see all their insights.
Yeah.
And then now you can add specific people on the team to own the milestones. Everybody gets notified, and then you're collectively getting to a place where your new customer is going to make a decision faster, and they're going to believe you're going to be the best solution because you're the most organized, the most personalized, and you're really listening to them and providing them exactly what they need.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. One of the things too that we're now in the kind of the evolution of the DSR has been a great state. Well, what I'm working on now with product marketing is personas. So if you're an underwriter, or if you're an executive, or if you're in IT, we want to have different curated experiences for them. We've kind of really learned through trial and error that you shouldn't do discovery and demos with IT in the room and the underwriter in the room. You should carve them out and do them separately.
yeah.
The reason is um, our product is very configurable, so we have this very powerful UI for administrative, creating workflows and stuff. And then we show that in front of an underwriter, like, wait, I got to do that? No, 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 that's IT. So like having that kind of separation that at the demo and discovery, we're doing that, but also at the DSR, we want to start doing that as well. So you can create a curated experience based on not just the company, but based on the buyer type or the persona. Because, it takes upwards to 13 people now in enterprise selling to get a consensus decision. So across all your key stakeholders, you want to create those experiences that a little easier for them to find the information that you want them to see. So like, I'm not going to share a architecture technical document that we're sharing with IT with the underwriting team, for example.
Yeah. And so, like, to just take that, for example, here as a salesperson, if I have a new persona, maybe I need a set of IT documents, or maybe I need some procurement documents. I can go and I can select from the library. And oh, actually, I can go in and I can bear with me. Hold on. I think I can't. Oh, there it is. I was my Zoom was covering. I was like, where do my templates go? I can select a content pack. And you can see here, and this is what Dave was just talking about. Marketing is creating these content packs, and I can say, okay, I'm about to meet procurement, or I'm about to meet the IT and security team, and then here are the IT and security documents. I can pick the ones that I want to add, and then I can also make sure that only the security people see them, and you can manage all that in SalesHood. It's pretty great, and I appreciate you bringing that up. The
Yeah.
templates are great. So let's just kind of talk about templates and maybe kind of bridge to kind of alignment back to like how do you get marketing on board because you can't create all the templates. Like you need someone to give you this content. And here's just how easy it is to create them. I'm going to stop sharing because I think we did enough of the demo and folks
Yeah.
want to see more of a demo. Please, there'll be a link in the chat and you can request a demo. But Dave, like how do you get marketing to buy into this and to kind of give you the content that you need so that way you can drive this into your sales motion?
Yeah, so one of the things I learned from actually another SalesHood customer is this idea of a content factory, right? So like if you set your enablement team up as like you guys are the creators of the learning curriculum and the learning paths and each individual learning exercise, you have to partner with what it's your product marketing team or somebody else, your partner team, somebody has to create that content, right? That shouldn't
Yeah.
be area of expertise. So the way that we have gone around educating, we make sure that everybody in the company understands this is enablement. Here's what we do. Show an architecture diagram of the content factory and how, front lines and managers use the content to get to the learning goals that you want them to learn. But it really starts with architecting a way to where it's kind of a shared resource, if you will, for the company to be able to bring anything that's learning into SalesHood. And that's really probably one of the reasons why it's morphed into this great adoption within our company is we started fundamentally with those design principles
Yeah.
and then educated the company and said, this is a great resource for you if you want anybody in your team to learn something that you think is of high value. We have the tool, it's already licensed for them. They already went through the experience in onboarding, so it's not foreign to them. And you might as well start to continuously use it for coaching and developing. So, to answer your question, Eli, it really gets back to having a kind of a design idea and a vision and getting
Yeah.
in from everybody. So like if you do that first principle and you start to think about how you can use it and get all of this tribal knowledge into a place, you're going to get buy-in from every senior leader at every department because like they are already producing the content and they'll tell you our biggest point of frustration is the stuff that we build sales doesn't adopt or they don't learn it. Well, there's a problem, right? There's not a functional design and a solution for them to get everyone on the same page and how they learn. And so by going and educating and helping them understand, you guys are the creators of content. We'll get marketing to make it look beautiful, and then we will get it into a learning curriculum against the learning goals and the outcomes that you want.
Super great. People are really liking this marketing factory concept, and I know we've got some diagrams that we'll
Yeah,
share.
I mean, I learned it from you guys. I learned it from like one of your biggest customers at
Yep.
Spring Central at the time. I can't
So
remember.
Siobhan Thatcher has an amazing talk on this, folks, and I'll make sure that that video gets circulated with everyone here, and I'll
Yeah,
also make sure that the slide that she used primarily to get buy-in from product marketing, and then ultimately to help drive a kind of this machine. Talk to me, Dave. Let's get back to so thank you. Let's get back to the insights. If there's a CRO out there, which listen, we're in the early innings, as they say, in the world of digital selling. If you look at the Gartner hype cycle, we're still not, it's not widespread yet. I think there's still only 10% of salespeople in the US and in the tech are actually using digital sales rooms. So we're early. So you're on the forefront, you're pioneering. Kudos.
yeah,
A lot of CROs don't think this is something that can help their business. I know you gave us, some really good kind of like a talk track, but like how like what advice would you give to an enablement person? Like how could they really convince a CRO
yeah,
to look at this seriously?
yeah. I think customer stories of success, right? So, like, how can you help them understand a person with their title was struggling with, the journey stopping, right? At market. You got to tell the story. Like, if you take time, you got to sell this, you got to position this, right? And so
Yeah.
maybe work with your sales rep, but like, you got to position this like, okay, what are the things that matter to a CRO? I'll tell you right now. Do I have pipeline 3 to 5x, right? Who's doing what? Right? Do we have high level of activities with our sellers? And then what's our conversions, right? From like
Yeah.
emails and to meetings and meetings to opportunities. If you can show that you can use this as another strategy to create that buyer's journey and to drive pipeline, it's going to pay for our technology. Like what we spend annually with you is a fraction of what one deal turns. Like one deal is like a 10x payback for us. One deal.
Wow.
So
That's
like the truth is like guys do your math. Like you have to sell this and you have to sit down as a champion with your salesperson and figure out what's important to the CRO. I guarantee it's two things: pipeline and closing business.
mm,
And if you can show insights and you can show that this is another tool that can help drive more pipeline and give you better buyer insights along the kind of journey, and the journey stops here, go do your research, look up, build a presentation to talk about how like Gartner says that 83% of the buying experience is complete, right? And then they raise their hand and it stops right there. Like you have no more insights unless you do like a client side. Like you have to continue that journey. So that right there in first principles, I'd be like, well, yeah, I just invented like hundreds of thousands of dollars in all these marketing tools. Why the hell wouldn't I want to know, like, especially when they're engaged with us? And like, I don't even have to chase my sales guys down anymore. Like, I literally used to be on the phone, how'd it go? Now I watch Gong, right? And I
yep.
look at DSRs, and I have a better confidence in knowing that, we have high levels of activity. We know what's going on. But you got to
Cool.
the business case, guys. You got to sell this internally.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Look,
Dave,
I had to do it. I had to come in and, look, I had signing authority for a certain dollar amount, but I wanted complete buy-in. And I brought this to the leadership and said, here's what I want to do. Here's the vision for it. Here's how I've done it before. Here's, how we want to repurpose these people to do this job. And so that's what we did. And it's been really good. It's
yeah.
a really good result.
It's actually even more than the dollar investment, as you've already articulated. It's the change management, and it's just making sure that you've got everyone on board to give you what you need, right? The content from marketing, the executive support that this is actually how you're going to run the business, the integration with it. It's beautiful, man. It's such a great story, Dave. And
Good.
you're such a phenomenal leader.
Well,
I
thank you. I appreciate that.
I want to say any final words? Final.
Yeah, look, I think if you're having a hard time getting adoption, right? And you're already, you got to really work with your success team and really, like, you have to get top-down alignment. Like having a CRO reinforce what you're trying to do. Like, you guys are so important. The enablement organization is so important because the truth is, like, if you don't invest in people, somebody else will, right? Creating a culture and having a phenomenal product is not enough anymore. Like, salespeople want to be challenged. They want to be able to continuously be coached and developed. They want to make more money, right? We all have giant coin slots in the back of our head that are fed, the coins. And if you're not investing in their future, somebody else will. And they'll go, especially like these younger, super hungry, I just got, married, kids and 2 cars and a mortgage, that need to make money and they're still on the cusp of learning. Yeah, those are the people that you really need to invest the time and energy in making sure that they can make the most possible money, understanding every aspect of how you guys sell, your strategy, your messaging, the art of the deal, and it'll be key. But you have to create a large vision. You have to create a sales deck. You should start your pitch deck with observations, what's not working, and why it's ludicrous to stay with the same, and then what would great look like, and that's how you would introduce what it would look like through the lens of SalesHood.
Dave, you are a leader, a pioneer. Super congrats on your success so far at Federato
Thank
and
you.
how you're transforming the insurance industry, how you're transforming sales and selling. And I put your link, your LinkedIn profile, so folks can connect with you. I know you're such a gracious leader and knowledge sharer. And so thank you very, very, very much. Thanks for doing this with us, everyone else. And I'll just close with this. If anyone's interested in a SalesHood demo of digital sales rooms or our platform, or anyone wants a trial, please, there's a link down below in the video, and we would love to help you achieve the same kind of successes, the same kind of alignment, the same kind of pipeline velocity, the same kind of amazing success that Dave is seeing over at Federato, and that he's seen how many times, Dave? 6 times.
I'm a 6-time buyer.
Boom.